We have seen the structure of seminiferous tubules, and now we know where the active production of sperm takes place. So the sperm production takes place in germ cells. So germ cells are the that is sperm mother cells which produces the spermatozoa. Okay. So now we just switch on to the main structure of testis. So in the seminiferous tubules, now the active production of sperm takes place. So once it is produced, it has to carry to the other parts so that it can be transported to the female reproductive tract. So for that carrying all other ducts what we have written here, now we are going to include all that ducts here. So here, so once that seminiferous tubules are produced the sperms, that sperms will be carried to the next part. All these seminiferous tubules which are stretched here in the center are going to converge to form the next tubular structure called as arete testis. And this structure we'll call it as arete testis. These are the converged tubule of seminiferous tubule. So sperms leave this arete testis and goes to the next part, that is epididymis, through and another duct called vasa efferentia. Here is a part vasa efferentia. Okay, so through vasa efferentia, sperms leaves the seminiferous tubule and reaches the next part. So that next part is in our next duct, that is epididymis. So, and this is, we call it as epididymis. And this epididymis is a highly coiled tubule. It is highly coiled tubule which is 6 meters in length. It measures about 6 meters in length. It is a highly coiled tubule. Okay. So here, after reaching the epididymis, sperms are stored here temporarily. Sperms usually stored in this epididymis temporarily. So how many hours it may store there? It will store for 18 to 24 hours. So sperms stored in epididymis temporarily for 18 to 24 hours. Here, the sperms attain physiological maturity. It attains physiological maturity and increased motility to fertilizes the ova. So it has to mature. Now, the sperms which are produced here, spermatozoa which are produced in the seminiferous tubules are exactly they are cells. So they have to move. So that movement, that motility, it attains only in the epididymis when it is storing there. And also it gets its physiological changes occurs in this sperm cells and it gets its maturity to fertilizes the ova. So that process takes place in epididymis. So once it gets its physiological maturity, then it starts moving from epididymis. Before that, in this epididymis part, there are 3 parts are there. That first part, this I have drawn this side, this highly coiled tubule of the epididymis is said, and this first part, and then this is body part, and this is tail part. Head part. This is head part of epididymis, and the center part is the body part of epididymis, and third part is the tail part of epididymis. So this first part is called as caput epididymis, and the body part of epididymis is known as carpus epididymis, And the tail part of the epididymis are known as cauda. Cauda means usually it refers to tail part. Okay, cauda epididymis. Okay, then from the tail part of the epididymis arises the next duct named as vasa efferentia. It arises up this duct are called it as vasa efferentia. Okay, so let me rub this epididymis this side so that we can draw the remaining parts. So let me draw this, let me label this part here. Okay, now this vasa efferentia, it goes up into the abdominal cavity and it turns like a loop, or it takes a turn like this, and here we have the urinary bladder. So it reaches near to the abdominal cavity and it comes, it takes a loop like this. Here is a urinary bladder. Here this part is the urethra, where that urine comes out from the urinary bladder. Here it has this slight swelling part is known as ampulla. The slight swelling part is known as ampulla, and here from this ampulla arises the another duct called an organ called seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle is going to arise from this. Seminal vesicle is going to arise from this. Now, after the seminal vesicle, this duct now it is called as ejaculatory duct. Now, this part we start calling it as ejaculatory duct. Now it's going to join with urethra. And this is what I am drawing here is the urethral part. But this urethra is not only going to carry urine, it is also going to carry the sperms. Hence, we start calling this duct as urinogenital tract. Urinogenital tract. Okay, because it is a common passage in man which carries urine and also sperms at different times. Hence, we call this tract as urinogenital tract. This urinogenital tract, here is another important structure arises, that is the highly vascularized and muscular organ called it as penis. And it is a copulatory organ in man, which helps in the deposition of sperm into the female reproductive tract, that is into the vagina. And this penis part, in this side, it becomes enlarged. Okay, at the end of this penis, it becomes enlarged, and this enlarged or swollen part of this penis is known as glans penis. Enlarged part of penis is known as glans penis, and it is going to open here like an aperture. So here is an aperture. It is a slit-like opening aperture is found at the end of this. So through this urine and also these sperms are going to be released from the penis. That is through the urinogenital tract into the female reproductive part, into the vagina. So here is another ejaculatory duct which comes from the another vasa efferentia. So I have drawn only one side of testis here. That second testis will come this side. Okay, it is not so far. It is always together. Okay, these two testes are separated by a septa. Okay, scrotal septa. But I have drawn only one testis. But naturally, two testes will be there. Two vasa efferentia will be there. This vas deferens will be there. Then two seminal vesicles also there. Okay. And this long duct, sorry, this is not vasa efferentia, this is vas deferens. This is vas deferens. Okay. Now, below to this urinary bladder, that is one more donut shaped organ or gland is present, and that is called it as prostate gland. That is called it as prostate gland. Okay, it is a single shaped organ, and at the base of this penis, a pair of bulb-like structured glands are present, and they are called as, I'll just mark it here so that it will be visible. It is bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland. So let us quickly see everything once again. In the seminiferous tubule, sperms are produced. After the production of sperms, they are carried through the duct, through this tubular structure, retate into the epididymis through and another duct called vasa efferentia. In the epididymis, the sperms are stored for 18 to 24 hours, and they attain physiological maturity and increased motility to fertilizes the ova. Then the three parts of epididymis we have seen. The head part is known as caput epididymis, and the body part is known as carpus epididymis, and the tail part of the epididymis is known as cauda epididymis. And the tail part of epididymis arises in another duct which goes up into the abdominal cavity is known as vas deferens. Vas deferens, and it joins with the seminal vesicle canal, and now we start calling this canal which joins into the urethra is known as ejaculatory duct. Okay. Now this urethral part is going to carry both the things, that is urine and also the sperms at different times. The organ, the muscular organ which helps in the copulation, we'll call it as penis, which is in copulatory organ. This is an external genitalia of man. This muscular part is called as penis. Then this swollen part of the penis, that is an enlarged part, it is called as glans penis. And this glans penis is made of a loose fold of skin. It is made of loose fold of skin. Loose fold of skin. We call it as foreskin. What is that name called? Foreskin or prepuce. P-R-E-P-U-C-E. Foreskin or prepuce. Okay. So here below to the urinary bladder and gland called prostate gland is located. But we will not be able to see this prostate gland or this ducts properly. Once we cut this prostate gland only, we will be able to see this ducts. Okay. Then at the base of the penis, a pair of bulb-like structures are found. They are called it as bulbourethral gland. So three accessory glands we have written in the beginning. The three accessory glands are a pair of seminal vesicle and a prostate gland and a pair of bulbourethral gland. So now while going, when the sperms start moving from here, all these glands are going to add their secretions on the sperms. These seminal vesicle are also going to pour its secretions on the sperms. This prostate gland is going to add its secretion on the sperms. Same, this bulbourethral gland is also going to add their secretions on the sperms. So while coming out from this urinogenital tract, sperms will be called it as semen. The semen is a milky white liquid which composed of sperm cells and also a seminal plasma. So what are the organs and what are the secretions these glands are going to produce, what it contains, that we will see it little bit later. Let's continue our topic, male reproductive system. So far we discussed about the parts of testes, and now we are going to discuss about the accessory glands which help in reproduction. So there are three accessory glands that I told you in the beginning. They are seminal vesicle, prostate gland and Cowper's glands. So let us see one by one. Seminal vesicle. So seminal vesicle, it's going to add its secretions onto the sperm cells. So what kind of secretion it secretes? It secretes a fluid which is alkaline in nature. Alkaline in nature means above pH level is above 7, right? So this alkaline fluid, it's open into a vas deferens. If you recall the structure of vas deferens in the testis, vas deferens arises from the caudal part of epididymis and it goes up to into the abdominal cavity and it takes a turn down and it joins with the urethra. And there we can find the seminal vesicle. So here, the seminal vesicle adds its secretion into the vas deferens, and from vas deferens it reaches the urinogenital tract. And this fluid which is secreted by the seminal vesicle is called it as seminal plasma. And this seminal plasma contains some kind of substances. Let us see one by one. First is fructose. Okay. Next is ascorbic acid. And the third, prostaglandins. Okay. What is the main function of this prostaglandins? These are the some substances. Then the main function of the prostaglandins, it is a hormone-like substance which helps in the contraction and the relaxation of smooth muscles in female reproductive tract. So when the sperms are deposited in the female reproductive part, it should be designed in such a way that sperms can move upward. So this prostaglandins helps in the contraction of female reproductive part so that the sperms can move upward so that it can reach the fallopian tube so that it can fertilizes the ova. And the next part is the vesiculase. Vesiculase is nothing but it is an enzyme which increases the sperm motility. It means it can move faster while going through the female reproductive part. So this is about seminal vesicle. The liquid which is secreted by the seminal vesicle is known as seminal plasma. It contains some nutrients, that is sucrose, fructose and ascorbic acid, and it is in like hormone-like substance it secretes, that is prostaglandins which helps in the contraction of female reproductive part. Then it contains a vesiculase enzyme which increases the sperm motility. And the next kind of organ is the prostate gland, which is single organ. It is located below to the urinary bladder, and the shape of the prostate gland is donut shaped gland, and this secretion is poured into the urethra because it is found below to the urinary bladder. So it is there and its secretions is directly poured into the urethra through which urinogenital tract. Okay. Then it secretes an acidic fluid. Okay. It secretes an acidic fluid. We said seminal vesicle secretes an alkaline fluid and this gland secretes an acidic fluid which contains citrate. Okay. So this prostate fluid is also now it is added onto the sperms while the sperm cells are going through it. The last gland is Cowper's glands or bulbourethral gland. This Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland are found inferior to the prostate. So inferior to below to the prostate gland, these glands are found, or at the base of the penis we can find this. Okay, Cowper's gland. It is a paired gland. So its secretions help in lubrication of penis. Secretion helps in lubrication of penis. Okay. Now all these three glands are going to add their secretion. Seminal vesicle is going to add seminal plasma into these sperm cells. Prostate gland is also going to add its secretion. Cowper's gland is also going to add its secretion. All these secretions together we call this as in seminal plasma. Okay. Then from seminal plasma, additional to this is in sperm cells are added. Right. The sperm cells are produced from the seminiferous tubules of each testis that we discussed earlier. Now the sperm cells plus seminal plasma together we call this as semen. Okay. So from male, semen is released from the penis and it is deposited in the female reproductive part. Now the question can be asked, what is semen? Semen is a milky fluid, which is a liquid, which is a combination of seminal plasma, which are secreted by the 3 different glands, and the sperm cells, which are secreted by the seminiferous tubules of each testis. Now this semen is a milky white fluid, right? And it contains some chemicals and some kind of substances which activate and protect the sperms. And also it acts as a transport medium so that the sperms can move through it while going through the female reproductive part. And also this semen facilitate the sperm cells movement, right? So with this we are finishing this male reproductive system.